just looks star-studded. Look at CC right there, sitting right there, dog. Says Caitlin Clark is front row at Prada for Milan Fashion Week, sitting with Ellen Guy. Hopefully I said that right, man.
Here? Fantastic. And just one for me again.
All the drama, bro.
And just one more for me just here.
Now, I don't know how long she's going to be gone. Correlation said, I'm so happy for you, Claire. Oh, my. She probably.
While collective bargaining negotiations grind forward stateside, Caitlin Clark has been photographed front row at the Prada Fall/Winter 2027 show during Milan Fashion Week, seated alongside actor Ellen Gear. The images circulated widely online, with Clark visibly at ease in one of fashion's most high-profile settings. The appearance underscores the degree to which her profile now extends well beyond the basketball court. Front row placement at a major Prada runway show is not given to athletes whose brand appeal is limited to sports audiences. The timing is striking given the turbulence surrounding the WNBA's labor situation back home, though Clark's presence in Milan is entirely consistent with where her commercial standing currently sits.
Just here?
Now, I don't know how long she's going to be gone. Correlation said, I'm so happy for you, Claire. Oh, my. She probably meant to say Caitlin. Oh, my God, your manifestation. Huge day to be a Caitlin Clark style. It definitely is, man. Shout out to Prada Premier Brand. I just got me some Prada glasses last week, man. So shout out to them. This is Caitlin Clark with Ellen Guy. Hopefully I'm saying her name right, bro. So this is her posting this on her social media right here. This Stephen A. Smith. What is they talking about? Stephen A. Smith with the message to LeBron. We're going to skip past that. Let's see here. So here.
Building that kind of reach, fashion, media, international visibility is precisely what sustains an athlete's brand across the full calendar year, and that foundation becomes more valuable, not less, as the league itself grows. Back in the United States, the WNBA and the Women's Basketball Players Association are approaching a critical moment. ESPN has reported that March 10th represents a genuine operational deadline, not a symbolic one. The league informed the union that if a term sheet is not completed by that date, the season itself is at risk of being disrupted.
Bron, we're going to skip past that. Let's see here. So here's Caitlin Clark arriving here. Let's start it over. I think she's not putting her arm in her jacket. This might be part of the style.
The window matters because several time-sensitive processes depend on a finalized agreement. An expansion draft still needs to be held, and nearly every veteran in the league is heading into free agency. Without a deal, those processes cannot move forward on the timeline required for an on-time season launch. The players did not receive the deadline well, according to sources close to the union. A significant part of the frustration stems from the fact that the league took 6 weeks to respond to a union proposal submitted at the start of the year.
That she loved the new movement. If you guys listen real good, what is this here? So this is where Caitlin's at.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Being handed a hard cutoff after that delay was perceived as pressure tactics rather than good faith negotiation. The league, for its part, maintains that the March 10th date reflects operational reality and not a bargaining maneuver. 3 issues remain unresolved heading into the final stretch. Revenue sharing is the largest sticking point.
February 26, showing walking, not 1, not 2, before it looks off. So this is there go Caitlin Clark. Caitlin is chilling right now, bruh. She definitely is. She do not have a care in the world, bruh, about what is.
For the first time in league history, the WNBA has generated enough revenue to trigger a sharing mechanism with players, meaning a bonus pool exists and is legally required to be distributed. What the players are pushing for, however, is something more structural, tying revenue share directly to player salaries going forward, rather than treating it as a periodic bonus. The exact percentage of revenue players would receive under a new CBA has not been agreed upon, and both sides remain apart on the formula.
I have a care in the world, bruh, about what is going on in the WNBA. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. So she's in Italy. That's where Caitlin Clark is at. She's currently trending online, man, and it's good to see her doing more things outside of basketball, bruh. Her doing stuff like this is what's gonna keep her brand strong and just looking good. Now, ESPN did drop some news earlier today, yesterday, about the current state of the W.
Housing is the second flashpoint. Players have consistently raised the lack of guaranteed housing as a quality of life issue, and the league's most recent proposal does appear to include some form of team-provided housing in the next agreement. The specifics which players qualify, what standard of accommodation is covered, and for how long still need to be settled.
About the current state of the WNBA situation with this deadline, kind of detailing to us how all of this stuff is going to play out. This is a very important video. I want to share this here with you guys. Hopefully I got it pulled up. Let me get it pulled up here. And let's listen. I want you guys to really listen to this.
Get to now in the WNBA. For the first time ever, sources tell our Katie Barnes that the league has generated enough money to trigger revenue sharing with its players, essentially giving players a bonus. Now, moving forward, the Players Association, they want that revenue.
The third piece is procedural. Union leadership was scheduled to meet to review next steps and prepare a formal response to the league's most recent proposal. That counter-proposal will be the document that either narrows the gap or confirms how far apart the two sides remain.
Now, moving forward, the Players Association, they want that revenue share to be tied with players' salaries. And remember, this comes at a crucial time. Our Alexa Philippou reports that the league has informed the union that an agreement needs to be reached by March 10th. And Alexa Philippou joins us now. Alexa, I feel like I've said over and over again over the last couple of months that there is a deadline that the WNBA and the Players Association need to come to an agreement. So is March 10th truly this time a real deadline?
Malik, I guess you could call it a deadline of sorts.
The sequence matters. With the March 10th deadline real and the outstanding issues substantive rather than cosmetic, the next 2 weeks will determine whether the 2026 WNBA season opens on schedule or enters a period of uncertainty that neither side can afford, particularly in a year where the commercial stakes around the league have never been higher. The Women's Basketball Players Association has released a formal statement alongside internal survey results that make the state of CBA negotiations unmistakably clear. The overwhelming majority of players have no intention of accepting the league's current offer.
Because I just don't see how giving them any more money makes economic financial sense. This just came out. Alexa Philippou's statement from the WNBPA. Ironically enough, I had just shot a different video where Breonna Stewart had made some comments after they had a meeting. And I scrapped that video because of this statement that just got released. Quote, in every CBA negotiation, the goal of the league and the teams is to...
According to a survey published on the WNBPA's official channels, 84% of players said they would not accept the league's proposal and want the union to keep negotiating. Based on a roster of approximately 144 players, that figure translates to roughly 20 players who would take the deal as currently structured, with the other 124 opposed. The league's proposal centers on offering players 50% of net revenue.
And the teams is to divide the players. These negotiations are no different. We remain united and focused on delivering a transformational CBA for all members of the union and are committed to negotiating for as long as it takes. Our union's nearly unanimous vote in December to authorize us to call a strike if and when it is necessary was not taken lightly. It was made with a complete faith and trust of ourselves.
The player's objection is that net revenue, after operating costs and deductions, amounts to less than 15% of gross revenue, a distinction they consider fundamental to whether the deal represents genuine progress or a number that looks larger than it is. The union is pushing for revenue sharing tied directly to gross figures, which would produce meaningfully higher compensation as the league's commercial footprint continues to expand. The WNBPA statement framed the situation in terms of unity and resistance to division.
It was made with the complete faith and trust of ourselves and our negotiating committee, led by Executive Director Terry Carmichael Jackson and President Nike Agumake, to represent all players as we work to build a W that truly puts players first. Nothing has changed. That decision and the results of our players' survey reaffirmed that the current league proposal is not worth taking. Not worth taking.
Signed by players across the league with Breanna Stewart's name appearing last on the list, the statement referenced the near-unanimous December vote authorizing a strike if negotiations break down, describing that decision as deliberate and not taken lightly. The union's position is that the March 10th deadline imposed by the league, the pace of the league's responses to union proposals, and the contents of the current offer collectively do not reflect good faith movement toward a fair agreement. Public commentary around the standoff has been sharp and divided.
Taking. Despite our differences and tough moments, we must make it crystal clear that we are focused, we are resolute, and we are together. We want to play basketball in 2026. We want to be in front of our fans playing the game we love. We will not stop fighting. There is no WNBA without players. And then they got everybody's name listed down here. Breanna Stewart's, by the way, is last.
Some observers argue that the players are underestimating the fragility of the league's growth, pointing to a history of low attendance figures and niche viewership that predates the current moment of visibility. The comparison to the 1994 MLB strike, which caused lasting damage to baseball's audience, has been raised as a cautionary parallel. The argument is that a WNBA work stoppage, even a brief one, risks eroding the momentum the league has spent years building, and that players would almost certainly not recover through any improved contract terms what they would lose in canceled games and fractured public goodwill.
Last. Anyway, then there's this. And this is put on the WNBPA's looks like official Instagram feed. And this just came out, and this is unbelievably bananas. WNBPA survey on the league proposal, the current CBA.
On the other side of that argument sits the revenue reality. The WNBA has just closed
CBA offer from the WNBA. Would you accept the league's proposal of 50% of net revenue, which is less than 15% of gross revenue, in a 8-year deal, or ask the union to keep negotiating? Question mark. 84%. No, I would not accept 15% and want the union to keep negotiating.
Players are not asking to be compensated speculatively. They are asking for a larger share of money that already exists and is already flowing. The gross versus net distinction at the center of the dispute is not a minor technical disagreement. It is the difference between a transformational deal and one that obscures its limits behind favorable sounding percentages. The fracture within the players' ranks has not gone unnoticed.
The players will not stop fighting. There is no WNBA without the players. So they will not agree to the current league proposal. Lock them out. I mean, I don't know what else to say at this point. By the way, I did do the math based on 144 players. Roughly 20 would take the proposal. Based on 144 players. If it's like somebody mentioned it might be up.
Comments from Kelsey Plum and Breanna Stewart in the days prior to this statement were read by some analysts as signs of softening resolve, with sports media figures including David Sampson suggesting those remarks signaled the players would ultimately sign a deal before any games were missed. Whether the WNBPA's forceful public response is a genuine hardening of position or a negotiating posture designed to extract final concessions is something only the next few days will clarify. What is not in dispute is the timeline.
44 players. If it's like somebody mentioned it might be upwards of 250, I don't know where they got that number exactly, unless just every single player, 10-day contract, whatever, that played in the league last year, then obviously there's more players that would take the CBA offer. But based on 144 players, about 20 would take the offer from the league. Everybody else would say no.
With nearly every veteran player entering free agency, an expansion draft still pending, and training camp on the horizon, the operational window for a resolution is narrowing fast. A season that begins on time and in full is something both sides have said they want. Whether the distance between the two proposals can be closed before the deadline makes that possible remains the defining question of the WNBA's most consequential offseason.